choking under the same cloud of pollution. An air emergency grips both capitals, prompting dark jokes online about the race for the most polluted city award in the world. Now, in November, AQI numbers spiked to terrifying heights, over 800 in parts of Delhi and unprecedented 300 in parts of Mumbai. But the real contrast isn't in the numbers. It's in the response both these cities had. While Delhi continues to breathe toxic air with little relief in sight, Mumbai has moved aggressively. With AQI hovering near 200 and touching 300 in pockets, the BMC launched a crackdown. Strict curbs were enforced in hotspots. These hotspots include things like Mazgaon, in Deonar, in Malad, in Borivali East, Chakala, Pavai, Maland, all those places. Construction and dust-heavy activities were halted. Flying squads in every ward were seen, and fine was imposed for industries. 70 sites were pulled up for flouting dust control norms, taking some of the measures, just a few measures that I've mentioned over there. In fact, over 50 sites were sent out notices as well to stop construction. All of this when the AQI of Mumbai was in the poor to very poor category, just hovering around 300. That's Mumbai. Now let's take a look at Delhi, where AQI stayed well above 300 for almost all of November, spiked to 600, 700, 800 at times, if you look at specific pockets, yet not once was GRAP 4 invoked. Construction, which is a major culprit, was briefly banned, only to be allowed again after a marginal dip in pollution. Pollution BS3 petrol and BS4 diesel vehicles faced short-lived ban as well. They were also lifted. The minute AQI, touched 300, they said, okay, now everything is fine. We can let go of it. Now, what did Mumbai do? Mumbai acted within days, pushed by the rap from the Bombay High Court over there. The BMC stepped into action in Delhi, despite repeated scoldings from the Supreme Court, despite data now available that, this toxic air is taking away the life out of all of us breath by breath. They have barely done anything. So the question now is, how is Mumbai ready to act when AQI touches 200, but Delhi stays asleep when we've hit, even as an average, about 300 to 400? What's happening here? Let's get a sense from our reporters now. Joining us here from the National Capital is Shivani Sharma. And in Mumbai, we've got my colleague Mustafa Sheikh joining us. Mustafa, first to you. We've been looking at all the details that you've sent us on the crackdown that has happened, different measures and restrictions that have been imposed by the BMC. We saw some politicians there also writing, Milind Deora, for example, writing to the BMC, asking them to take action, the Bombay High Court stepping in as well. Could you give us a sense of what all happened over the past 1 week that changed the air quality for Mumbai?
Yes, of course. As you rightly mentioned, that construction and traffic pollution, has been two of the major reasons in Mumbai also for pollution. In fact, we are standing right outside a building which was under construction or which was being demolished. This building, as you can see, that there is a display which has AQI and things like that. But the stop work notice has been given to this construction site because they were flouting norms. There was a demolition of the old structure which was taking place, which led to a lot of dust, and there were complaints from the residents, and the BMC had to act, after which there were all kinds of water sprinklers covering it with green nets, and all these measures were implemented. So this is just one site. There were 53 such sites where the action has taken place. At the same time, the BMC is trying to create a central a software area where all the buildings who have this air quality management system, so the air quality around their work site can be seen on the central data. So these kind of things are adding to also the road cleaning efforts which were taken place. There were a lot of bakeries who used to use wood fire. They are now asked to shift to greener options like gas, piped gas and other options. So these are measures which the BMC has taken, and they're saying that they will continue to take. There are some experts who are also saying that the cyclone happening in the Sri Lankan area is also one of the reasons due to which the wind movement has taken place and due to which the air quality has improved. But as of now, the BMC is taking a sigh of relief that the air quality has improved, but they have said that they will continue to monitor the air quality and the construction, be it road construction or private building construction happening in city of Mumbai, so that the air quality doesn't deteriorate further. Back to you.
All right, so clear action which has been taken by the BMC over there. And thanks, Mustafa, for actually giving us a glimpse of that construction site. But let me contrast that with where Shivani is at the moment. Shivani, could you give us a status on Delhi? What's happening to construction sites here?
Sonal, see, Delhi is under GRAP 2 restrictions right now, and CAQM has announced GRAP 2, but here, construction is not totally banned, but it is undergoing restrictions. But here where I am present right now, right in the heart of Delhi, in CP, you can see the construction is happening, and the necessary action that should have been taken of the net, that green net that has to cover this mud so that it doesn't spoil the air further, is not there. The sprinklers are not there, and there are multiple sites like this, Sonal, where I've seen that the construction continues. There are simple categories in which this construction has been divided. They say these are emergency services, the construction cannot stop. Moreover, it is under GRAP 2, which does not ban the construction, but yes, steps have to be taken, enforcement has to be done, but it is not being seen here in Delhi. And if we talk about the air quality index in Delhi, it's between 300 and 400 in different pockets of Delhi. But Mumbai seems to be more in attention with even lesser AQI, Sonal, as you are also being pointing out, while Delhi has been under 800 AQI, 700 AQI at certain places in different weeks and days of November. But here, the CAQM has now revoked GRAP 3 last week and put it under the category of GRAP 2, which is it has relaxed a number of restrictions, and the construction also continues. So the real contrast, which is also evident on the screens, one from Mumbai and here in Delhi, is there, while the air quality index is also quite different in Delhi. It's quite high, though the enforcement needs to be done properly.
All right, so there you saw the ground reality in Mumbai, then the ground reality in Delhi. Two cities, both facing the same problem, but what Mustafa is showing you in Mumbai is a hard crackdown. And what Shivani is showing you in Delhi is one attitude that simply doesn't care. What's baffling me at the moment is that both the cities are run by the same government. The BMC or the municipal corporation in both the cities, the government in both the cities, both of the BJP, and yet here we are, really trying to make sense of why we've not been able to do a proper crackdown and tackle pollution, even admit that there is a problem here in the national capital. Well, that's the reality there, but let's take this conversation forward with our guest today evening. Joining me now is Rishabh Shah. He's the founder of IIMUN. Rishabh is an author. He also runs an organization which basically engages a lot with young people. And they take a lot of pride in the Indian roots. But today, they are with the same roots, with the love for the country, they're asking very tough questions. They're asking why AQI is not a priority, why pollution, air pollution is not a priority. What you're seeing on your screen right now is a very gut-wrenching post that Rishabh wrote over the weekend, which is how we got in touch. Rishabh, before I go into the details, would you like to read out that post for our audiences as well?
Having me. And I'm happy being in Bombay in comparison to being in Delhi. So it's nicer to be in Mumbai right now than in Delhi. But to read the post quickly, Dear Parliament of India, and I think the bigger problem is that the politicians need to wake up, and therefore the post. Dear Parliament of India, from an Indian who's tired of your skibbity smokes and mirrors. Over decades, you banned apps, memes, books, even grief, but let smog spread like a silent thief. You tweet Viksit Bharat, sip chai with Riz, whilst the climate risk index drops facts, not fees. 430 extreme events, 80,000 Indians dead, 14 lakh crore lost Tell us, why are we paying this cost? By 2047, we'll be 2.7 degrees hotter. Viksit Bharat maybe, Garam Bharat for sure. AQI in Delhi touched 800, Mumbai's 300. Other metros follow suit. Kids stay in bed, old folks relocate like climate refugees instead. The middle class buys air purifiers, the rich flee to France, only the poor stay back, coughing through their karmic trance. This isn't just bad air, it's a multi party, multi decade nightmare. Breathing what we're all sus about, even Banyas now sell O2 on street out routes. Mumbai skyline once blushed at dawn, now it wheezes till the smog is gone. And when the youth held up signs, not stones or fire, you arrested them like coup plotters on satire. They asked for air, not votes, but got gagged with Ye Andolan Jivi quotes. Anti national? No, bro, just anti asthma. You chant Bharat Mata ki Jai with every breath, but Ma's got COPD and is choking to death. Celebrate Green Diwali, your PR tweet pleads, whilst garbage fires LOL at your sustainability feeds. The ruling side, in my opinion, is sleeping, the opposition is screaming, whilst Delhi and Noida, where you come from, Sonal, are drowning in toxic steaming. Let's not forget those who rent today watched this smog crisis creep in yesterday. It's just 25 smokes a day. No Marlboro pack. Just open a window, dear Netas. Your lungs will turn black. Beijing did it, London did it, Mexico City too. So what's stopping you? They shut coal, moved factories afar, banned diesel, raised the bar. No driving days, they didn't delay. Didn't wait for the AQI to slay. No cap, they cleaned their act. And us, still stuck in blame claims and shady packs. So how about a parliament session on air, not just budget hikes and temple repairs? Don't wait for winter to ping pong blame. We've been choking all year. It's the same game. It's not Amrit Kal, it's a Stitva Kal, and every breath is a Mayday call. So wake up, not for PR, not for polls, but for our lungs, our soul, and this nation's cause. Dear Parliament of India, this is a clarion call. Every party and every MP, answer us once and for all. If you can't help yourselves, call us citizens, we'll help you solve. Because this generation is Wednesday Adams with Devi Bishwakumar's flair. And if you don't want stranger things, dear sirs, ensure we get clean air.
Rishabh Shah said it like really speaking the sentiment of so many people who are feeling exactly this. But I loved this one line from your post which said, every politician, every political party, wake up. Right? Which is what brings me to your interactions. You have a community which constantly engages with politicians. I've seen a number of BJP politicians, in fact, across party lines, come to your forum, interact and talk with young people as well. What I'm not able to figure out is that what is stopping our politicians from recognizing this as the biggest issue in the country today? What, in your opinion, is stopping them from recognizing, forget finding a solution?
I think one of the issues, one of the biggest gremlins that I've personally seen, is that many of them feel that this is not their problem. This is a problem that is going to come to the next generation and the generation after that. And also, the ones who don't have children perhaps don't empathize as much, because I think if you have a child who's growing up at this juncture and in this air pollution, then you're more worried about asthma affecting the child today. Therefore, I think one of the biggest problems is that they don't think that it is theirs to solve. Otherwise, there are very many educated politicians. There are very many people who are in positions of power who can effect change and who understand and should understand climate change. But वो हमारा problem नहीं है, वो आपका है, and therefore you solve it. And that is what irks me sometimes. Of course, they won't say this publicly.
Have you had interactions with these young politicians? Have you taken up this issue with them? What do they have to say?
About young people, of course, young politicians are much more empathetic. They realize, they understand, they vibe with the environment that we're living in, and therefore they understand the fact that we can't be living with these vibes. But the problem is that when these are young politicians, when they try to voice this opinion, even in their own party, climate is not put as priority. I think when religion is replaced by climate as an agenda issue, I think then India will definitely become Viksit for sure. But till the time we're more focused on other issues and we're not focused on issues such as climate, then I don't think that
But you know,
like I
Rishabh,
said,
that's the
will get
thing.
on.
That's the thing
Yeah.
about air pollution. It is not a climate problem. It's a health problem. And health, not of the planet, but health of human beings, health of people like you and me, health of even the politicians who refuse to look the other way, or perhaps are very happy in their air purified echo chamber. We don't, why has this not become a priority? And the question then to even the young, when you're out on the road these days, I don't see a lot of young people wearing masks. Yes, they're raising the issue. Yes, there are hashtags. Yes, there are slogans and anthems and posts like yours online. But where are the masks? Where is the awareness?
No, I think there is a lot of awareness, but the only thing is that in terms of translating into action, and there was action even in Delhi, as you would remember very clearly, there was a lot of action. A lot of young people came to the street, and that's what I've written, saying that then unfortunately some of them were arrested. So there's a stark difference in the way that politicians are reacting to the situation. In Bombay, in Mumbai, we've seen that situation change dramatically because we've got a progressive politician who seems to understand the pulse of young people. But sometimes in some states, that's not something that is being translated into action per se. So I think young people are definitely awake. They're woke. They're not just performatively woke. And they are taking this issue very seriously. The problem, however, Sonal, is when these young people go out and vote, I think at that juncture, this should be something that should be a part of the agenda item that they should force politicians to look at. So right from a BMC election or a Delhi Municipal Corporation election, all the way to the Parliament elections, this should become a part of manifestos. Only when this becomes a part of manifestos will real change come about. Otherwise, it's just hogwash every October, November, and December, and then
No, but in
January,
Delhi, it was
February.
part of every political party's manifesto. Clean Yamuna, clean air. All political parties wrote it. We wonder what has really happened, right?
No,
Now
but
suddenly,
there's no accountability. No, there's no accountability. It's just like clean air. We'll clean. There'll be no air pollution. There won't be any. We'll clean Yamuna, but there is no tangible thing to hold them accountable to. I say that at a grassroots level also, let's start holding them accountable, and then I hope that we'll have a better tomorrow.
all
And
right, Rishabh, we leave it there very quickly, last 30 seconds.
Yeah. So now, one more thing that the fact that we talk about all these elements that we want to protect, air, water, etc. These are things that fundamentally were worshipped at one point in time. Before we worshipped God, we worshipped all of these
Yeah.
elements. As I was mentioning earlier, the Atharva Ved, the Prithvi Sukta is the first poem or the first hymn that is dedicated to these elements. So the fact that praying to nature is something that is second nature to us as Indians, and therefore to say that River Ganga is Ma, but then at the end of the day, when you look at the actual scenario that is there when it comes to
We've
air and
forgotten
water,
that, no? We've
we've
forgotten
forgotten
that, yeah.
that. So I sincerely hope through this program, and thank you for taking this
Good
issue
point.
up.
Yes.
Because
Thank you, Rishabh, for coming in, and thank you for sharing all those anecdotes with us. But if you thought, listening to Rishabh, that only young people care about it, but not the old, think again, because our next guest on the program will compel you to think about this matter. Joining us next is Mr. S.P. Vaith. He's the former Director General of Police, DGP for Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you so much, Mr. Vaith, for your patience and for your time, for being here on the program today. Again, I saw your post online which said very categorically that you had just landed in the national capital for a short duration. But tell us what that short duration and that exposure to Delhi's air did to you and your family.
Good evening, Sonal, and to your viewers. About 20 days back, I had a visit to Delhi. I stayed there for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks in connection with the operation of my wife. My whole family was with me. I tell you, all of us had bad throat, terrible air breathing, and problems of cough and all that. So since I had come from Jammu and Kashmir, so we generally don't have this problem here. but Delhi was very bad. It was in the month of later part of October and first 2 weeks of November. Very bad experience. I have been experienced. I'm an old man. I had experienced this many years back also when I was SSP lay. I'm talking of 93. Yeah, 93. I was SSP lay, and I had those days there was no flight from Jammu, so I had to land in Delhi from Leh. So when I landed at Delhi, even at that time, eyes were burning, my throat had, but the level of pollution has increased over the years. No doubt about it. So Delhi had this problem. I'm out of my experience. I'm telling you, even in 1993, I had experience of eye burning when I landed from a clean air of Leh. So
Yeah.
my my only point, simple. I'm no expert of uh, air pollution or all these technical parts, but as a normal human being, I feel God has given us clean air and clean water. The only thing we have to do is to preserve it, and whatever. See, these are things gifted by God, and I think the bare minimum man or human being can do is just preserve its purity.
Yeah.
You can't replace it by air purifiers, or you can't replace it by aqua guards and all that. You need to have clean
Sir,
water for
absolutely agree with
drinking for
you.
everyone. Not
Absolutely agree with you. But help me understand this. Why do you think the government, the authorities here, have not been able to tackle and take up air pollution at war footing? What do you think is stopping them? I'm talking to young people, they're affected. I'm talking to senior people, they are affected. I'm talking to young mothers, they are baffled. They're leaving Delhi. They're saying this is not the life we want for our kids. I'm talking to doctors and they say, I wish I could, open up somebody's lungs and show to the government what is happening to young kids. And, just because of the breathing of this toxic air in the national capital and across North India, in fact. I'm talking to scientists, they're saying 60% of the country's air is bad. And yet here we are. No measures taken, no mention of it. And now we're just even seeing more relaxed norms in Delhi. Why do you think our politicians haven't woken up?
I don't know. They also breathe this year, and all parties. It doesn't concern one particular party. It concerns every human being. And what was then the statement I read of head of the pulmonary department of AIMS? I don't remember the doctor's name. He said, as you were mentioning, the lungs of all patients who come to AIMS are so terribly affected. Now,
Yeah.
what could be more serious than this? It should have actually rung alarm bells. The highest authorities in the government, highest authorities in the judiciary should have woken up and taken whatever action is required. There are experts of everything. There's no dearth of experts in India. It's a multiplicity of agencies, no direct responsibility being fixed on particular agency or particular individual. I think everyone needs to wake up, and this is we don't have to reinvent it. It has been done in other parts of the world. China,
Yes.
so many cities had this problem. Today,
China,
they
London, Mexico City, there are
why
lots of examples all
yeah.
around. And
Yes,
what better
and
time than now as well, where we are in sync, where it's the same government across different states, across different union territories as well. So why can't we get together? There is no politics which can be sort of taken as an excuse now for bickering over air pollution. None of that is there. So why can't we solve that problem now? When I asked this question to Kiran Bedi a couple of days ago, she said that back then she did not realize air pollution was such a big issue because she was in Pondicherry. The minute she came back to Delhi, she now realizes, and she has urged the Prime Minister to step in. She said a COVID-like task force should be set up now to ensure that air emergencies tackled across the country. Would you be of the similar belief?
I completely agree with Kiran Bedi ma'am. And in fact, I was glad to read today's news that the Principal Secretary to Prime Minister held a meeting with all the secretaries of about 12 departments who were concerned about it. I think it is an emergency. In fact, it should have, this is kind of emergency situation which the day of opening of the parliament session should have been prioritized because it concerns across party lines.
But it wasn't.
It concerns every individual from a laborer to the prime minister, from a laborer to the chief justice of India. Everyone is breathing same air. So why can't it be priority? And same member parliaments who are debating today on many issues, they don't realize that this is a priority. I really fail to understand. They're also breathing same air. They should have actually sat on dharna in the parliament that first resolve, take, constitute a task force, constitute a study, time bound within 15 days or 20 days, find out what are the reasons which actually cause these and how we can take action to stop those. I think this should have been an emergency, and not only in Delhi, there are many cities
North
across
India.
India which
Sir,
are
I have
affected.
last few minutes, so I have to ask you this. Another sort of comment that Dr. Kiran Bedi made was that she, in fact, in a desperate note, has written now a post to say that all air purifiers from government offices should be removed. She's saying it's only then, when they get out of their clean air bubble, that's the only time they will get down to taking some action on this. I wanted to know your comments on it.
Absolutely. See, we are all sitting in our air-conditioned rooms in offices. I have AC office, I have AC room, so why should I bother? Think of crowds of people on the street breathing the polluted air. If I have air purifier in my office or my residence, doesn't absolve me of this, and it is breathed by everyone, including the birds and animals in Delhi and surrounding areas. So I think those who are responsible for this, their purifiers and air conditioners must be removed. I completely agree.
All right, Mr. Ved, thank you so much for joining us here and appreciate your time and effort in bringing importance and underlining the issue of air pollution. Meanwhile, as you rightly heard there, the Parliament did not take up the matter, but the Supreme Court did. With Delhi's AQI hovering in the very poor category, the Supreme Court today reiterated that stubble burning alone cannot be blamed for pollution crisis in the capital. A bench headed by Chief Justice Suryakant now questioned the CAQM on the steps and measures taken so far to curb other causes of pollution in Delhi. The top court also remarked that AQI has been improving ever since the court listed the matter. That was on a lighter note, of course, pointing out how action has been taken only after intervention sometimes and thanks to the wind movement and thanks to God sometimes. Also, Supreme Court bench mentioned, also directed the centre to inform whether their action plan has had any impact or there is need for changes. So that's a story we'll keep tracking right here on India Today about what's happening and how the Supreme Court is also looking into the matter. All right, Shrishti Ojha now joins us for more on this story. Shrishti, take us through what exactly happened in court. We've seen over the past 2 months, actually, Supreme Court pick up the matter, make some comments, but not real any concrete action that can be seen as implementation on ground. Give us a sense of where is this entire sort of proceeding headed?
Well, Sonal, the top court has been hearing this case regarding air pollution in Delhi NCR for the last few years, in fact. And today we saw the CJ himself point out that if we talk about the pollution and the situation in Delhi right now, the issue is so common to each and everybody living in Delhi that nobody can sit idle. The court made it clear that it's not a crisis where there's not a solution. A solution will have to be found, and solution should in fact come from subject experts. What the court named the situation only, because considering the courts do not have the expertise, can only give a platform to all the stakeholders, the government, to discuss those solutions and then eventually ensure that those solutions which the government comes up with are implemented on ground. As you mentioned, we saw the top court question the CAQM with regard to its action plan, also pointing out that if the action plan and the legitimate expectations that CAQM had through that plan has not been achieved, then maybe it's a time to relook and make some changes to that action plan. As far as stubble burning and farmers being blamed constantly for stubble burning is concerned, CJ said that the issue of stubble burning should not become a political issue or even a question of ego, because stubble burning was there during COVID as well. The CJI pointed out, still we could see a clear blue sky. So the top court has made it clear they will be constantly monitoring the case and also ensure that some steps are taken on ground for proper implementation. Back to you.
All right, Shrishti, thanks so much for those updates. In fact, sticking with the issue of stubble burning, there's some more updates coming in. Let's take a look. Now, according to a new analysis by the Centre of Science and Environment, traffic, not stubble burning, is the main reason behind the daily pollution spike in Delhi. Now, even with farm fires at a multiple-year low at the moment, Delhi NCR's winter air remains absolutely suffocated. For most of October and November, like we've been reporting, pollution levels hovered between very poor to severe categories. At least 22 air quality monitoring stations in Delhi recorded carbon monoxide, CO2 levels above permissible limits, or even more than 30 of the 59 days assessed, with Dwarka Sector 8 sort of logging in the highest number of breaches at 55 days. 55 days of continuous toxic air, followed by, it was Jahangirpuri and, of course, New Delhi's North Campus, both at 50 days each, according to the study. But we've been telling you this for a while, and now finally there's a study that sort of tells you more on this as well, that it's not stubble burning that is causing the spikes. The baseline pollution in the national capital is because of our vehicles, because of our industries as well. Let me try and see if we have... All right, so that's the big story that we... Moving on, Parliament is to celebrate 150 years of Vande Mataram. The big scoop that we have here for you at India Today is that the Vande debate in Lok Sabha will be taken up this week. Prime Minister is likely to speak during the Vande Mataram debate as well. There are 10 hours allotted for discussion on Vande Mataram. Discussion likely to be taken place on Thursday or Friday. Aishwarya joins us on the phone line for more on this. Aishwarya, tell us more on what has prompted the government to dedicate 10 hours for a debate on Vande Mataram.
Well, one of the things that we have been seeing is that the Vande Mataram now has become a bone of something that the opposition and the opposition as well as the government, both of them have been speaking about it. Now, the government believes that Vande Mataram has not been given the kind of stature that it should have been. In fact, let me tell you, the BJP over the course of the last at least 6 months has been pinpointing at the deletions that were being done. The government now very, very clear that the history, the Indian history, those things were never highlighted during the Congress era, things that were really, really crucial for our culture. Now, that's the reason why a debate is something that will happen. From what we are understanding at the moment, Prime Minister Modi is also, in all likelihood, likely to speak. And we have seen how the Prime Minister, on day one, also set the tone when he said that all that the opposition does is mere drama. So this is what we should expect over the course of the next at least 18 days. This is exactly how it will be: the opposition on one side, the government on the other side, and Vande Mataram, something that we have been speaking about at least over the past 6 months. That discussion will now take on the floor of the Parliament.
Right. Aishwarya, I'm very keen to understand, just before we came to this breaking, we were talking about air pollution. Has that found any mention in the time that the government is dedicated to discuss on the floor of the House?
Well, at the moment, Sonal, very, very unfortunately, this is something that the government so far has not given a nod. The opposition, however, especially the Congress party, has been speaking about the fact that air pollution is something that we should all be speaking about. The MPs and the entire cabinet, they all stay in the national capital. And that's the reason why we should see the discussion taking place. People need to understand what's happening. Sonal, if you remember, the video that was being made by Rahul Gandhi, he was at India Gate, spoke about the fact of what air pollution is doing to the people. So the Congress has been at the forefront. And even at the all-party meeting, not just the Congress, some of the other opposition parties also said, Aam Aadmi Party especially, that they want a discussion on air pollution and what the government is doing.
All right, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thanks, Aishwarya, for joining us. Some more updates coming from Parliament. So today the winter session has started. Like we said, a lot of showdown expected on the issue of Vande Mataram. And the next one is, of course, SIR. That led to a lot of ruckus today as well on both the floors of the House. Sansad showdown over SIR is only set to escalate tomorrow on day 2 as well. Opposition is set to protest tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. in front of the Makardwar protest, demanding a discussion on electoral reforms. Opposition MPs there also to stage a protest outside the Parliament. Today also we saw ruckus over the same matter in both the houses. Rahul Gautam joins us for the very latest on the matter. Rahul, go ahead with the details. What exactly is the strategy there by the opposition party?
Well, it seems that SIR has emerged as a rallying point for the entire opposition camp, and therefore now they have decided that tomorrow around 10:30 they're going to protest at Makardwar, demanding that there should be a full-fledged discussion on electoral reforms. The opposition has been insisting on discussion for SIR, a demand that has been rejected by the government, saying that this process is being undertaken by Election Commission of India, and therefore they cannot have a discussion inside Parliament. However, the opposition is saying that the government is only misleading, and the discussion could take place under some other rules or possibly on electoral reform. They're going to discuss and decide upon other matters as well. So clearly it seems that this issue is gathering more steam, and it seems that the stalemate between opposition is only deepening, and you can expect that tomorrow both the LOPs, Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, to join this protest. And obviously it seems that we are heading, or we have already entered into a fiery or stormy session, that's winter session this time around.
All right, Rahul, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you so much for all those details. All right, on that note, we're going to slip into a very quick break. News continues on the other side. Stay tuned.